Hello everyone, this is James Shore with another test-driven JavaScript video. I'm recording this on May 22nd, 2013, picking up right where we left off in the last episode. What we're working on here is modularization. We're using Browserify to introduce the idea of require into our client-side code. So now we can require the modules we need rather than assigning them to a WeWikiPane global. Now, when we left off last time, we had gotten that all pretty much working, but we still have a lot of cleanup to do. We need to unbundle our tests from our production code. We need to get index.html working with require. We need to get phantom.js working with require. We basically have it all bundled and we have the require statements in place, but we haven't finished sort of getting rid of the old approach yet. Before we get into that though, I have a mea culpa. I was wrong. I was very wrong. Last episode, I was complaining about the sorry state of Browserify's documentation. That blame was entirely misplaced. I should have been complaining about the sorry state of my own reading comprehension. So please accept my apologies, Browserify folks. Your documentation is, well, it's there. I'm not going to... This is what they call damning with faint praise. It's documented. The documentation's not bad. The examples don't show the callback, but it is right here. I just missed it, so I'm sorry about that. So yes, Browserify is asynchronous, and it does have a callback that you can use, or you can work with the readable stream. I'm going to go ahead and modify the Jake file to use the callback approach, just because I think I can get that working pretty quickly. So let's get that in here. So rather than dumping it out into a stream, I'm just going to do a fs write sync. So the way this works is we pass in options and a callback, and that callback has our bundle in it. We're going to make this an asynchronous task. And then here we're going to say if error, we're going to fail with the error. Otherwise, we'll do a fs write file sync to write the whole thing out. And we'll just pass that through there. There we go. Hopefully that works. Oh, and we have to tell it it's complete, of course. There we go. And now we should be able to take our build dependency off the server code, because I don't believe the build is actually a dependency for the server. Yeah, and now everything's working. So again, my bad. I was complaining about the documentation. The documentation is just fine. The examples weren't terribly clear, but I should have read the documentation more thoroughly before complaining. So once again, Browserify folks, your documentation is pretty awesome. Thanks for putting it together, and I'm sorry for getting it wrong. All right, let's move on. So let's go ahead and check that in. Got our build step being properly asynchronous there. Next thing I'd like to do is unbundle our tests from our production code. Right now, because our tests are bundled into our production code, that's giving us this can't find variable describe error. And I did a little research into this off camera between episodes. And if we fix this, that will make it much easier to deal with these other two issues next. So let's go ahead and fix that. It should be pretty straightforward. We just need to do two Browserify steps. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to sort of hack it together to start with. The first one's just going to be our client, and it should pull everything else through automatically. And the second one will just be our test, and it should pull the client files through automatically. And that's going to happen here after our first one's done. And we'll call that test bundle, for lack of a better term. And we'll probably want to fix that at some point. Now this should fail everything. Yeah, our tests were not run, but if we look in our generator directory, yeah, there's our test bundle. So I should be able to change our Karma configuration file to work with the test bundle rather than the production code. So we'll go ahead and restart Karma and run that test. Okay, it failed because it can't find WeWikiPaint. I believe that's because I took that WeWikiPaint global out of our production code. And we've got I'm guessing we have an order of operations issue here. So let's just go ahead and put it back. Yeah, there we go. Now, Phantom.js is failing. I'm not sure why. Oh, okay, I figured it out. When I unbundled those, I deleted the HTML element line here because I thought it was redundant. That proves once again that you shouldn't do more than one thing per test, because I was wrong. That line was needed. So now everything should be working. Yes, let's go ahead and check that in. Now there is a potential issue here in that we are actually testing a different bundle than our production bundle, but because those are both automatically generated from the same source code, I'm not going to worry about it. If there's a bug in Browserify, our smoke test, our Phantom.js smoke test should catch it. And honestly, it just seems really unlikely to me. So I'm not going to sweat that for now. So we've gone ahead and done that. I don't believe we have that can't describe error anymore. We shouldn't, because it's not showing up in our production code. That's good. Now we need to get our index.html working with require. That should be pretty straightforward. The way to do that is to modify this bundle. Yeah, we can tell Browserify that we want that file to be required. And we can expose it in as ./client.js. So that's pretty slick. Again, I really like Browserify, other than my inability to read the documentation, which is not their fault. It's pretty solid. You know, they've thought about the stuff that we need. So now that I'm exposing client.js, I should be able to go into index.html and say client equals require client.js. And how cool is that? Now let's hope that actually works. Yes, it does. So here, now I should be able to say client.initialize drawing area. And let's run that. Yeah. Okay, let's go back and do the same thing for HTML element. That should still work. We haven't actually changed anything. But now here we can say HTML element equals HTML element, and here we can say new HTML element. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So now we've got index.html using client, except for right here. We'll come back to that one. So next we need to get Phantom.js working with require. That should be pretty straightforward. We just go into our Phantom.js code and we'll require there as well. We'll say var HTML element equals new equals require HTML element. And It should be just that simple. Yep. And then to get rid of this, we'll do the same thing for client. Okay. And now we can change this. Now that will fail, I think, because the other in index.html we're actually still saying WWP, but we can just change that and now it should work. There we go. It does. All right. So we've gotten Phantom.js working with require. Awesome. Now we're really moving along. Okay. All right. At this point, I believe we can delete all of our references to the WeWikiPaint global. So let's just make sure everything's working. Should be. It was working a moment ago. Yes. Okay. I don't think we're using that anywhere now. Let's just go ahead and go on down the line. We'll do a search for WeWikiPaint dot throughout our entire project, ignoring the bundled code, ignoring the spike right here. So we've got it here. We shouldn't need it. Good. Actually, let's not make that WWP dot. Let's just make it WWP. Okay, we'll take it out of our Jake file in a few minutes. We don't need to worry about the generated. I don't even know what it's doing down here. Don't need to worry about the spike here in Phantom.js. Should be able to take that out of our global. For that matter, I don't think we need jQuery either. Oh, I guess we do. Okay. Client.js. Shouldn't need it here. Shouldn't need it here. That takes care of that. That should still work. HTML element. Shouldn't need it here. Shouldn't need it here. That takes care of that. That still works. And last but not least, shouldn't need it there. All right, did we really get it out of everywhere? It looks like we did. Let's see. Yep, it's passing. The only thing we have left is our client globals and our lint. That is no longer needed. Excellent. That is fantastic. So last, got rid of that. All right. I am really happy about this. We are very, very close to being done. All we have left to do is just some cleanup. We need to take care of the error messages. We'll get the source maps working. We need to figure out how to bundle our vendor files, and we've got a little bit of cleanup to do. We're going to do that in our next episode, and that will bring us to the end of the chapter if nothing goes wrong. Although, of course, something does seem to always go wrong, but yeah, that's just the nature of programming. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time where we'll hopefully finish this up.